Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Dyer Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with my partner in crime here, Kevin Jean, with V&M, production manager for V&M Baits. And Kevin, hey, just want to say, man, I missed you last week, dude.
Yeah, we had to miss last week, Memorial Day, and we had a lot of stuff going on work-wise. I had some meetings I had to be at Tuesday, so we never did get Tackle Talk last week, but we're going to make up for it today, Steve.
And by the way, we want to thank all of our veterans, that have earned us the right to have a show like this here in this country. We thank you. We appreciate your service. And
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and get things started. Kevin, I think you got one of our sponsors, but
Yes,
we
sir.
do have a great show for today.
The boat shop. If you got problems with the outboard engine or maybe you just need some minor boat repairs, Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff at the boat shop will make sure all your needs are met. A certified Yamaha dealer and home of the best motor on the market today, the Yamaha Show. They now also carry a great line of Luna boats, the Sea Ark. So whether you're a crappie angler or bass fisherman, Sea Ark has a boat to fit your needs. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the boat shop take care of all of your boating needs. You can give them a call at 318-402-0399 or visit their website at shreveportboatshop.com.
And real quick, we're going to kind of break it down for you. We've got a special guest coming on with us, one of the winners of this past week's Outlaw Outdoors Circuit and tournament on Sam Rayburn. We got Clay Phillips going to be with us in just a minute. We're also going to talk about the upcoming Bassmaster Classic, just been announced this past week as to when and where that's going to take place. We're going to let you know that information. Also, we've got some sad news from the outboard motor industry with Evinrude and some of the changes that's taking place with them. We've also got some scheduled events we're going to tell you about that are coming up. Tournaments are getting ready to kick off in full swing, as some of them has kicked off this past weekend with the Outdoor Outlaws. And but we got all these topics we're going to cover today, and probably a couple other things we'll talk about as well. Maybe give you a little fishing report. I've been over at Lake of the Pines quite a bit, catching a few fish. I've been at Sam Rayburn, catching a lot of fish at Sam Rayburn, but I don't catch or didn't catch the size that these guys caught, Kevin.
No, they absolutely whacked them. You know, this past weekend, the first major tournament to really kick off since all this virus stuff, the COVID-19, and the Outlaw Team Series tournament had 324 boats.
Yeah.
That is a major ordeal.
Yeah.
I know Clinton Stacy was real excited over there.
For a circuit that's really, 2 years old? 3 years old?
Well, this is actually the Team Series first year.
Oh, it's the first year.
For the Team Series. The
Right.
Outlaw Outdoors has been around doing the
Right.
Average Joe tournament, so
Right.
on and so forth.
Right.
You know, and I was talking to Clint a little bit about it before. They had, 240 teams, their biggest event.
Right.
So they grew by 80 boats.
Yeah, that's pretty good
everybody
growth.
was anxious to get back out on the water, no doubt about it. But the man right now we have on the phone is part of the team that won it with a little over 26 pounds, Mr. Clay Phillips. Clay, you with us?
Yes, sir.
How's things going this weekend? I'm sure it's a lot better of a Monday after that payday on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I can say the good Lord has blessed us for sure.
Well, have you been to the bank yet, or is that something you're doing this afternoon?
Say it again, sir.
Have you been to the bank to deposit that check, or did the wife
Yes,
get
sir.
the
Yes,
wife get
sir.
the check?
I've been to the bank first thing this morning.
So you didn't hand that over to the wife when you walked in the door?
Oh no.
Well, Clay, look, before tournament here, I know with the Outlaw Team Series, you guys can practice on Friday. Once if you've paid your entry fee, did you guys get out? Was y'all able to practice Friday and kind of 26 pounds? Is this something you think y'all have found, or something that kind of stumbled on during tournament day? Just kind of break that down for us.
I stumbled on it Memorial Day, and we did not get out and practice Friday because I'm trying to discipline myself to leave stuff alone. And
So y'all didn't get out on the water at all Friday?
No, sir. Sure didn't.
Wow. Okay.
So I knew where they were located. It's between 3 different spots, and no, it was 4 different spots. My bad. And first spot we went to, we couldn't get on, so the emotional stress started just then.
Yes.
And I was like, well, let's just go on to the next Plan B, and we went to Plan B, and it started off right. I guess by 7 7:30, 7:45, we had about 22 pounds.
Wow. So
so then
that all went down in what time period, Clay? I mean, we talking. I mean, I know you say by 7:30, but
I'm gonna say that all went down in about 30 minutes, about 6:45 till 7:30 ish, somewhere out in there.
That's a pretty good plan B, Steve. I'm thinking that's a pretty good plan B.
Well, you know, Clay, this time of year, we're getting in that time of year now that, you know, if this had been a month earlier, those fish might have moved on you a little bit, but now we're getting that summer pattern, and fish are starting to set up out deep, and they're kind of holding. I assume that probably helped you, and you probably felt confident with no major cold fronts coming through, no major weather changes. You probably felt pretty good that they're still going to be there.
Yes, sir. I pretty did. I felt pretty confident in the 3 spots that I got. 3 of them that are pretty jam up, and so after that we left and we come back, and when we came back, I told him to throw back in there, and he threw in there, and he stuck another one, and they called us up. And then it was pretty much our day. I quit pulling because knowing what I got going up for this week for Texas Team Trails.
That was my next question, I assume. And we're not going to poke a whole lot here, Clay, because I know how big TTT is, and there's 2 tournaments, one Friday and Saturday for you guys. So, you know, we're not going to poke and pry too much here and for info. But my question is it an area, is it a structure, or is it a bait? That's all I'm asking.
I think it's between structure and a bait.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Clay, I don't know if Kevin told you, but one of the obligations about coming on Tackle Talk Live is GPS coordinates are required after the show is over. You have to send us those. So, and we won't use them against you, but we just would like to know. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Were you north of the bridge or south?
I was a good bit north of the bridge.
Okay, so you were up the lake then, which is fairly common.
What time did you make your last call, Clay?
Our last call, I'm going to say, was about 11.
That's when
I said we're shutting down.
I got you. So what did you call? I mean, what did we call up with here?
We called all together. We ended up calling right at 22 pounds. Like, we threw back 22 pounds.
You threw back 22 pounds.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
My goodness.
That's a pretty good day right there.
We caught probably, I think we counted 18 fish. We didn't catch no small fish. Our smallest fish was a 380 something. And we caught 18 fish total through the day.
That's one of those trips of a lifetime. I mean, that just don't happen every single time you roll out there.
No, sir. Just like I told him, I said I felt comfortable with 18 pounds when I found this. And so we showed up, and they grew a little bit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, we talking, just give us a depth. Were they in 20 foot of water, 15, 10?
Man, we were anywhere from 28 to 30 foot.
Oh, so they are deep. They are out deep. Crankbait, dragging a football head.
We're dragging a B&M Wild Thing.
Oh, hey,
that is what I'm talking about.
That's a little PR.
Now, Clay, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that when we talked on the phone about this. But now that I know that, now we're talking about some stuff here.
Sure enough.
Well, Clay, let me ask you this. So, you made your last call. You had your 26 pounds, 11 o'clock. We go practicing the rest of the day, or we go get the stump for lunch?
Yeah, we ordered pizza or what?
We went to a couple of big fish spots, just thinking where I was thinking I could go get a big giant, but we never got that bite.
Right.
Was you also thinking about scouting for next week? You know, kind of getting ready for possibly for that.
Yes, sir. We did do a little looking.
Yeah.
Yes, sir,
yeah.
Now, how much pressure are you finding up the lake right now? I know I've been up there. I've been over to Rayburn a couple of times in the last 2 weeks, and I haven't really gone past Deer Stand, but there wasn't really a lot of people up there in my last trip over there. I was a little surprised.
Right. Well, with the COVID thing going, man, the lakes had a lot of pressure here lately.
Yeah.
More than, I live right there at Hanks Creek, and man, there's been more pressure than I'm used to seeing by far.
Yeah.
But the area that I was in the middle of a crowd pretty much, and it was trying to stay quiet and not let everybody see what's going on.
That was going to be my next question. If you was fishing around some people, a crowd, and did you have anybody try to come on top of you, or you seeing what was
Honestly,
going down?
Everybody that came anywhere close was respectful, and man, I got to say that everybody was
right.
Treated me right, and I never had no issue with nobody. So
now is it gonna be, Clay, a boat race this weekend to get to that? I mean, you know how people are. You know how anglers are. If they see you, man, look out. They're coming.
Right.
So are you going to have competition?
I'm hoping not, but, it's open to everybody. I mean, it's just angler respect. That's the way I look at it.
Right.
I try to give everybody the same respect that I want. So
Right.
Now, you're saying that was plan B, Clay. Did you ever try plan A that day? Did you make it to plan A? Or?
Yes, sir. We went to plan A, and two of the fish that we called out of plan A went to the scales.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, Clay, let's talk about the weigh-in. A lot of people are questioning, exactly how these weigh-ins are going to take place. What did Outlaw Outdoors, how did they conduct a weigh-in with this many teams? Was it different than what we've done in the past?
Was it drive-through?
Yes, sir. It was flawless. I mean, everybody was nice and respectful, and it was in a timely manner getting the fish taken care of, and it went very smooth. I told Clint Stacy it kind of shocked me how smooth it went.
Now, it was a drive-through weigh-in, right, Clay? I mean, it was a drive-through.
Drive-through.
Yeah, it was
so
a
you didn't
drive-through
have
weigh-in.
staging tanks where guys were standing in tanks waiting on each other.
Yes, sir. They gave you bags, and you had your fish and your live wells in the bags, and they took your fish when you drove through and weighed them, and then they got them right back in the water.
Now, where was the weigh-in? Where did it take place at? At Humphrey Pavilion?
Humphrey Pavilion.
Okay, and that's a good place to have a drive-through. There's plenty of room and plenty of room to park, and when you're through waiting, you can go park your boat. So that sounds like maybe that's a thing of the future. Maybe that's something we're going to continue to see more of, you think?
It wouldn't bother me. Where I fish up north, so
right.
That trip from leaving out of Humphreys, you cut that time, that's fishing time.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because you was up north by 6:45. If it happened by 7:30, you might not have been getting there if you had a boat number.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, was there somebody announcing, Clay, the weights as you pulled in the parking lot? Like if right now,
yes, sir. They were telling everybody the weights. They had what was on bottom for pay.
Okay.
They had a board there, and and they constantly were changing it, telling what was on bottom. So if you wasn't in contentions or whatever, that we're trying to get them fish back in the water as soon as possible instead of going through the weigh-in.
Right.
Well, yeah, I heard Clint Stacy went well, and I think it was all over with by about 5:30. So that's real impressive to get.
That's, for 324 teams, that's really impressive.
Well,
now, everybody didn't weigh in, but, that's probably a good thing that. Because we all have been there. Those long where everybody's weighing two fish and one. Of course, there's no point system. Is there points in this deal?
Yes.
So there is points.
The championship is in October.
Right. So there's a point system involved.
Yes.
And so that surprised me then that more guys probably didn't weigh their fish.
So Clay, you're saying we had 22 pounds, culled all 22 of those pounds, got back up to your 26, catch some deep water on a Carolina rig V&M Wild Thing.
There you go.
Any info, exciting info, anything happened that day? Just kind of make this story even sweeter.
Well, our biggest fish for the day, the 6-pounder. My buddy, he had swung on one and hung a stump, and then as he hung that stump, I said, "Here," and I swung on one, and when he was coming in, he twisted around his line. And for some reason, when he got close to the boat, he jumped purposely and just came right off his line and landed right in the net. It was pretty nerve-wracking.
Now,
but other than that, everything was pretty good.
A 6-pounder was your big fish?
606 was my big one.
Wow, y'all have 5 good ones then.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yes,
now
every fish was pretty much this. They were
identical almost.
Clay, did you have any other patterns that you felt like you could, do pretty well with, like a crankbait pattern? Was there something else working for you besides?
Well, we did to calm our nerves for just a little bit. We got a little excited, and we picked up a frog for about 30 minutes and went frogging.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. You catch any fish doing that?
We caught 2. It was 2 3-pounders, and they wasn't even in the play, and so we just left them alone. But we gave it a chance just because we thought we could get a big one.
Right. Well, it sounds like y'all had a heck of a day, man. I mean, again, 26-17, 5 fish, and $13,000 in winnings. I mean, you just can't beat that. I think this Outlaw Outdoors is one of the better circuits going on in our region, and they just do a great. I've heard nothing. I've never fished one, but I've heard nothing but good things about them.
I'm going to say it's the number one in my book. I've been fishing with them for a little while now, and
I would concur with that, Clay. I fished several of them. My company sponsors it, and they do a great job over there and really keep the anglers first, and what the anglers need, and they really do a great job. But Clay, man, we appreciate you coming on with us. Good luck next weekend at the Texas Team Trail, and who knows, hopefully we'll have you on the show next Monday after you win the Texas Team Trail.
Exactly. Then we'll need GPS coordinates.
Yeah. Now that is the rule. If you win 2 in a row and you come on Tackle Talk Live, we gotta have some more info.
Or we get a free guide trip. So
that'll work.
Clay, we sure appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
All righty, thank you.
All right. Well, we heard from the horse's mouth right there, Clay Phillips and of course David Shaw, and they put quite a day together.
Where would 22 pounds have put him?
22 pounds would have put you in fifth place.
So he threw back. So he could have had.
He threw back top 5.
First and fifth with what he threw back.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty impressive.
They probably should have split up, like you do in cards,
Yeah. But
anyway,
Clay's been around for a long time, and he's done very well in some tournaments. He's always somebody to watch out for when he enters a tournament, especially this time of year. To have that and to have what they call to have 18 fish and 3-pounders your smallest.
Yeah,
that's a solid day.
And he's no stranger to the lake. He lives at Hanks Creek there, as he alluded to. So, but real quick, let's talk about that, Kevin. He brought it up a little bit. The pressure, the COVID-19, everybody's been fishing, but I'm going to tell you the truth.
I don't think it's hurt it, Steve. It hasn't hurt Sam Rayburn.
Well, my last 2 trips because before that, boat ramp was packed.
Yeah.
But my last 2 trips, it's been cut in half. The number of people putting in a Castle
everything's
Boykin.
starting to open back up now. So people that have been fishing every weekend are doing more things, myself included.
Right.
During all this going on, I was fishing every weekend. Now my daughter's playing softball.
Exactly.
So I'm softballing on weekends every other weekend now. So, more things are opening up. They're not as full. Really shocked to hear they didn't even practice on Friday.
Yeah. And again, you're at that time of year where if you find them,
Yeah, but I still got to go. I still got to go out around something.
Yeah. Now I know a couple of guys that are pretty good over there, especially Derek Mundy. He's a great deep water fisherman over there, and his partner Brett. They were over there this past week, and he said Friday was insane. They absolutely smoked them on Friday, and they split up as a team to scout, and everything Brett found was good. Derek was finding fish in his tops that were good, but they just got small on them. And you just got to wonder, of course, fish group up in size, as we all know that. And, boy, when you start catching 4 and 5 pounders one after another, you've landed on the honey hole.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. And Clay definitely landed on one. I think, though, he's got something figured out to catch 18 or so fish of that size. I think he's got something other figured out other than a pile.
Yeah.
If he's got 3 or 4 locations like that, he's got some other kind of structure figured out, a presentation.
It could be a creek bend.
Yeah, he's got something figured out there that most don't. So real quick, kind of rundown of the tournament. Took 20 pounds to get 11th place, and the last check went out to 40th place, 16.61 pounds. 16.53 pounds won a $500 check. So it took 16.5 pounds to get a check in 324 boat field. They bit, Steve.
And the weigh-in basically lasted, I'm sure, from probably 2 o'clock till 5:30, they said.
5:30, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, for a drive-through weigh-in, that's absolutely very good.
There's nothing wrong with that. And so congratulations.
Hats off to Clint Stacy for putting that on. They are, and I know they were a little nervous about it. They were the first major tournament to kick back off, and if they would have failed, Steve, if this wouldn't have went over well, I was nervous what it was going, what it was going to do to these remaining tournaments. But
yeah, this one kind of set the tone.
They did. They set the tone and showed that we can have one and still abide by all the guidelines. So again, hats off to them, and glad we're back to some tournament action.
Yeah, especially with everything going on in our country today, and all the turmoil and separation and racial turmoil. It's just absolutely, it's good to get to the lake and get away from all that and separate yourself. And so now that we're back in business, hey, let's talk about the 2021 Classics coming to Texas.
Let me ask you one more question about Clay. So next week you've got the Texas Team Trail on Friday,
right?
And then a whole nother tournament, Texas Team Trail. It's not a 2-day. This is 2 separate tournaments on Saturday.
Back to back.
Do you sleep any this week after you just weighed in 26 pounds and was done at 11 o'clock?
You got to feel good about your situation.
I would think so.
You got to feel, and having the discipline to back off those fish.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. You and I both know. When you catch them, you're catching them.
It's not a guarantee you're winning out with 26 pounds.
No, exactly.
By no means.
They rolled the dice and said, we think we have enough. But either that or they wasn't worried about necessarily winning it, but they knew they was going to do really well.
Right.
And said, we're getting ready for next week.
Yeah.
I'm sure the money is extremely big this next week.
Oh, yes.
So,
that was a good call by them.
It
was a good call. So, all right, back to yours. The 2021 Bassmaster Classic coming to Lake Ray Roberts in Fort Worth.
Yep.
The first time the Classic has ever been to the Dallas-Fort Worth region. The first time any BASS event has been held on Lake Ray Roberts. And all I can say is it's about time we've actually got an event of this size to Fort Worth and to Ray Roberts, because Ray Roberts has been showing out the last couple of years.
Right. I guess my question is, and I'm a little familiar with Ray Roberts. How far is it from the lake to the convention center and Cowtown?
It's right there in Denton. I don't want to guess at that, Steve, but it's
less than an hour.
It's less. It's no Gunnersville, Birmingham deal.
Right. And the thing about Fort Worth, it's a big town, but it's not Dallas. Fort Worth's a little smaller venue in terms of it's not Houston either.
Correct.
As far as traffic. So I'm looking for this to be a really big event. You got interstates coming in from all different directions, coming right into there, feeding that area. This could be a record-breaking event in Texas. March 19th through the 21st will be when this classic
this
will be held.
Could be some massive weights also.
Yeah, it really could be a really great event. So kudos to the Bassmasters for announcing that and headed back central part of the country, coming back to Texas.
Finally, it's about time. I'm tired of driving South Carolina and Alabama and everywhere, Tennessee. I'm glad to finally be able to make a shorter drive here by the house.
5 hours, you're there.
I'll take it. I will
not
take
15.
it.
You're there.
I will definitely take it. So,
and it's a great opportunity for, which we all know, Kevin, from guys like me and you that fish Toledo Bend and Rayburn and Fork, and even my visits to Lake of the Pines this past week. I've really been in the Texas Parks and Wildlife system, and what they do and how they manage their fisheries has got to be the best in the country.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about that. They've been making a hard push for a while now, trying to get a classic in that Dallas-Fort Worth region. I'm glad to see they finally prevailed and got, what is needed. We need another good tournament back here, and especially in North Texas area.
Right.
Houston, I don't think went as well as planned.
Right.
And that was just at the wrong time. Houston Rodeo was going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in Houston. I'm glad to see it in North Texas. I think it's going to be a huge success, no doubt about it.
Now, before, when Cliff Pace won it up in Oklahoma, they were in Oklahoma City.
Tulsa.
In Tulsa, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That event was also troubled with bad weather.
Yeah,
that could have been a really huge event up there.
Oh, yeah,
but I
absolutely.
look for this to exceed possibly all of them.
Oh, as long as weather and everything cooperates, Ray Roberts is going to have a shot to really show out here. There's a lot of people from around the country don't know about Ray Roberts.
No, you're right.
Or what it's capable of doing. And I will tell you right now,
I've never been there. Have you been there?
I've been there several years ago.
In the college series?
We actually did go there in the college series, and I think me and Gleason fished something there, maybe TTT it was. I can't remember. We fished a team tournament there several years ago, but it just knowing the lake, and matter of fact, I was talking to Lee Livesey, Elite Series Pro last week when they announced it. We were texting back and forth, and he said, Kevin, it could go down. And he knows that lake very, very well. So you talk about somebody excited. I mean, that's right down the road from where he lives.
I got another guy that's excited. He lives it's in his backyard. It's Chris Zaldane. Chris lives there.
Yes.
He is right there from that region. He said,
wow.
When it was announced, he sent me a text and he said, I can sleep in my own bed. He said, "You know how big that is for me." He said, "This is huge." He is so excited. He probably can't sleep from now to March.
Yeah.
So
you're right about that.
Got some bad news to report. Sad news to report. Evinrude has decided the BRP Corporation has discontinued their Evinrude motor line, which really came as a shock to me. I think a lot of people.
It really did, and they're saying that with all the shutdowns and everything they had to do with the COVID-19, they just wasn't able to open that side up again, financial reasons, and just they kind of fell down during the whole virus shutdown era that they did. They are wanting to exclusively work on the growth of their boat brands, which they have aluminum boats, they have party barges. They're wanting to really focus on that and not the motors, which I'm with you. I hate to see that. But as we all know, this virus is having an effect on a lot of businesses, and this is just another.
Yeah. And I've actually, again, talking to some motor manufacturers over the last couple of weeks with Yamaha and Mercury. Now, Mercury's going to be, I think, taking over.
All the contracts that Evinrude had, my understanding, Mercury's going to take those over.
The service contracts, the warranties will be fulfilled by Mercury. So kudos to Mercury for doing that. I'm sure they didn't have to do that, but they probably saw as a possible opportunity to gain more boaters down the road, maybe switching over to Mercury. So, so good job by them. Also,
upcoming events.
We got upcoming events, and real quick, I want to jump back up there, even though it wasn't what I thought it was. That I still want to kind of get your opinion on it, Kevin, because this is something some guys, even on Facebook, have made this a hot button topic. MLF Pro, which was Jacob Wheeler, dropped down to fish the Toyota Series, which is like the old Costa Series, which is one level below what he fishes all the time. There are some people out there that really frown on that. Your opinion on those guys dropping down?
Oh, I don't have a problem to that level. The Costa Toyota Series level, which is now the Toyota Series, that's a pro-am.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, those guys are not weekend anglers, or they are. A lot of them are weekend anglers, but they're trying to get to that next level. Right. And they're going to spend a week on the water, practicing. Not a problem in the world with those guys maybe coming down to the Toyota Series to fish. Now, I don't really care to see them step all the way down to the BFL just because these full-time anglers, you give them 2 or 3 days in a row practice on a body of water, whereas me and you who work during the week are not able to put that type of time. Yeah, true. that type of time in on a body of water. I don't care to see them jump all the way down to the BFL, but the Toyota Costa Series, whatever you want to call it, not a problem at all.
Well, as two guys that have fished both of those circuits, the Toyota Series as well as the BFLs, I expect it. I expect when I back my boat in the water, I'm expecting to see Jacob Wheeler or some of those guys drop down and fish the next level, because again, that's a 3-day tournament. Yeah, that's a 3-day event.
Yeah, if you're fishing that level, you're trying to make it to where all them guys are at. You're fishing against them anyway, so not a problem at all for them fishing those Toyota Series events. Now, let me ask you this. Is there another angler on this planet as hot as Jacob Wheeler right now?
Jacob Wheeler may be the #1 angler in the world right now and has been for the last
6 months to a year.
6 months to a year. Yeah, I'd say for the last year, Jacob Wheeler has been on fire everywhere they have gone. He's catching them, and
if it's anything that you can use graphs with offshore, he is a player. I don't care where in the United States you go. I don't care if it's smallmouth. I don't care if it's largemouth. He can flat out catch them. And here's what's the funny thing is, on his rig, he has a Lowrance, he has a Humminbird, and he has a Garmin. He has one of all three. On the dash and on the front.
Well, that's a good topic we'll get to later on. Maybe we'll hit that. But isn't it funny how each one of those units and each one of those brands you just mentioned, they are good at one thing, really good at one thing. And that's why I think Jacob, let's face it, Humminbird mapping, you just can't beat it. I mean, it's hard to beat.
Lowrance down scan, side scan, hard to beat.
Exactly.
The Garmin
Live scope? Yeah.
Can't beat it. So,
Now, see, Lawrence has got a live scope. I'd like to see a comparison between those two. I'd probably look on YouTube and find that.
I'm a Garmin guy, and I have Garmin on my boats.
Right.
I just don't think it compares to the live scope
Right.
side of things, but my opinion.
Right.
My opinion. But there's not a hotter angler on this planet right now, Jacob Wheeler.
No, I totally
he is
agree.
stepping into, in my opinion, KVD's shoes as the number one guy. When you back your boat in the water,
Yeah.
you better know where he's at.
Yeah.
Because he's coming.
And he just proved that not only can he catch numbers in the Major League Fishing Tour,
Best five.
he can go get 5.
He
If
can
he
go
needs
get
to
five.
catch 5, he can go catch 5.
Yep. No, I agree.
Upcoming
I agree.
events, June 5th and 6th, the Triple T Texas Team Tournament Trail is headed for Sam Rayburn. And now, Kevin, is one of those a makeup day? Or
Yes.
so
one of
that's
those.
2 events then, isn't it?
It's two totally separate events, and that will be the 3rd event. They're going to skip their 4th one. They're going to have 3 events, and that will qualify you for the championship.
Okay.
My
All right.
understanding.
June 13th, we got the Outlaw Outdoors Average Joe. Now, there are some restrictions on that.
The Average Joe tournament for Outlaw Outdoors is they set a tournament winnings limit. Say it's I want to say it's like 2,500 or 2,300. I have to ask Clint or Stacy, but there's a limit, and if you've won more money than that on Sam Rayburn this year, you're not allowed to participate.
Right.
You take Clay and them; they just won 13,000. They're not eligible to fish this Average Joe.
He can forget it. Yeah.
He can forget it.
Right.
And the guys that have won tournament, any BFLs, any tournament, not just an outlaw circuit. If you have won a certain allotment on Sam Rayburn in the year of 2020, you're not eligible to fish an Average Joe.
Yeah. And I like that.
It gives, I mean, the Outlaw
gives-
Series is pushed towards the weekend anglers and guys that
Yeah.
work full-time jobs. And,
That
you know,
weekend warrior guy. Yeah, you're right.
1,500 is the limit. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. 1,500 is the limit. So
Right.
if you've won over that, you cannot participate in the Average Joe.
Right. June 13th, BFL, Lake of the Pines. I've been over there this past week. It's really my first time to be on Lake of the Pines since probably 1979 or 78 when I was in high school. Was thoroughly impressed with the fishing, caught a lot of fish in different ways on different type of baits. I was really impressed. The facilities at Lake of the Pines, all the boat ramps, first class. The accommodations that where I'm staying were really nice. I just was really impressed with the lake, and I've asked myself when I was there, why haven't I been fishing over here more? But we never have nothing over there.
Yeah, and I don't quite understand. The lake's not as big. It
No,
does
it's
fish.
not. It's not
it
a
does
huge
fish
lake.
a little small.
It does.
So a lot of the events we fish around here is so big, it's hard to go there.
Right.
I'm glad to see a BFL, and I fished all the BFLs this year. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that event that weekend, but man, I wish I was, because I fished it a couple years ago and we did well in a team event over there. And it's you can catch them offshore, you can catch them flipping, you
Right.
name it. You can
Right.
go over there and catch them doing whatever you want to do.
Right.
It is a very, very good lake.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. Also coming up is the Outlaw Outdoor Team Series,
June 20th.
June the 20th.
That's this tournament. The Clay and them just win guaranteed 10 grand first place. It's 3rd stop.
Now, so that are they going? They must be going to Castle Boykin because it's on Sam Rayburn the same day as the
Yes,
ABA.
'cause
And I know
ABA's
ABA's out of Humphreys.
ABA's out of Humphrey, so that one will be going out of Castle Boykins.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of people on the
So
water.
yeah, because June 20th and 21st we have the ABA
Right.
on Sam Rayburn.
Right.
And then that very next weekend is the big one, the Bass Champs Shootout,
Right.
Texas Shootout on Sam Rayburn. First place 50,000.
Right.
You know, so busy June.
So Rayburn's fixing to get hammered a little bit.
Well, and it has been. It's supposed to get hammered with tournaments. So very, very busy June going on at Sam Rayburn. Again, Lake of the Pines, June 13th at BFL. And the rest, nothing as of right now. I know there was a media event on Toledo Bend this past weekend, which B&M pro staffer Cody Pitt won.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know of anything going on Toledo Bend in June.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but I don't know of anything.
Yeah, Toledo Bend's kind of dead right now. I mean, just ain't much going on over there.
And Sam Rayburn's on fire, so
Yeah.
why stop when you're going that way?
Boxes, you just have the dividers in them, and you stack all your crankbaits in there, and you try to get them by size and by color or whatever. Try to organize as best you can. But the one thing they still do They still rattle and they still move around. And every time you move those things, it's dulling those hooks, unless you got hook guards over them, which I don't. But most tackle boxes aren't designed to hold baits in place until now. There's a new one on the market. My Groove Fishing. This sucker right here is one of the best crankbait boxes you will ever own. You can turn it upside down. They will not move. They're not going to pour out. The hooks are not going to rub up against each other. These silicone holders in here, these little pads hold these crankbaits in place, and it keeps them in place. They don't move. You can shake them. You can rattle them. You can turn it upside down. They're not coming out. Absolutely one of the best little crankbait boxes you will ever own. So if you're looking for a new crankbait box that will help keep your crankbaits in place and keep your hooks sharp, look to Groove Fishing. They are the company that's got these. It's got a magnetic lid and everything. Helps hold everything in place. You will not regret if you order some of these Groove Fishing tackle boxes. That's this week's Tackle Talk Live tip of the week.